everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel. So, ladies and gentlemen, and humans of all ages, I have invited you here today to watch the apology videos that have been posted to Danky Jabo from Mr. Lewis McClung and Miss Cataclysm. Now, I have determined, based on all of the information available to me, that Miss Cataclysm seems to be, well, it actually just looks like she's a big framing butthole. Altogether, she is just a big butthole who frames people and is trying to make people look bad. Now, let's find out if her actual apology shows that I am incorrect, or if she's just gonna keep talking out of her ARSS. And we will find out if my first assumption that Lewis McClung has actually taken the time to calm down from all of this. He might have been a little bit too invested, if you ask me personally. Let's see if he has actually taken the time to calm down and feel some remorse, actual real remorse, the way that I believe that he has decided to. And without further ado, let's go take a look at the apology videos. We're gonna look at Cataclysms first, because let's just be honest here. I want to see this. I want to see this. I want to know how this is gonna turn out. So, my lovelies, let's start the video up.
I just want to start off the video by saying an apology to Danky Jabo. The live stream that I did before was pointless.
Good. You should apologize. You have every reason to apologize. Based on everything that I've seen, you're a bully, lady.
And it was ultimately based off of no real evidence that I had. And if I was going to come and talk about our conversation, I should have had receipts. I should have been able to show things so that what I was talking about actually had substance. I want to apologize for that live stream being so all over the place. And I want to
Or you could have just not made a whole gigantic issue out of abso-freaking-lutely nothing. And to be completely frank with you, Cataclysm, who cares if he's still friends with the guy? Like, even if he is, has every right to still be friends with somebody. Sometimes it's very difficult to let a friendship go, even if you do know that somebody's a bad person. Like, it can be a difficult thing, and it takes sometimes it takes a bit of time to fully let that person go, even though you know full well that they're a horrible person. You're just still attached to them as the person that you know them as, and the human being that you always thought that they were. You're attached to an idea that they are a good person, not. Anyways.
apologize for making you feel as if you had no other choice but to make a video, because ultimately whatever was said on our call was not anybody else's business other than our own. And I should have been more mature just to sit down with you and have these conversations and hash out.
No, it wasn't anybody's business. And to be completely honest, if you were going to do all of this and pull all this malarkey, then to be completely fair to everybody involved, legally speaking at least, you should have informed Danky that you were going to put all of this out there in the first place. Like, oh, I'm going to be taking, or like, inform him that you're going to be recording the phone call. Inform him that you're going to be taking screenshots legally to cover your own ass. And not only that, but honestly, how is it any of anyone else's business who is a part of this person's personal life? Like, if he hasn't figured out fully that I'm Alex is an abusive piece of crap yet, and he still needs time to figure out that his friend is a horrible person and that there is a different narrative, then who are you to force somebody to speed that along? Like, they are still going through a process of not knowing what's going on, Cataclysm. and like they're still going through a grieving process of finding out that their friend, somebody who they used to be very close with and care for as a human being, is apparently a complete and utter monster. And there is a coping thing. Like, you have to take the people who are involved most likely need to take time to figure out, like, oh god, this has been a horrible situation. Like, they need to take time to to fully let go. And that's okay. People are able to go through different processes in their own ways. And if that is what's going on, I'm not entirely sure. But Cataclysm, you have absolutely no right to try to push anything on anybody or try to force any information out of anyone if they don't want to talk to you about it. And you have absolutely positively no right to take screenshots and recordings of conversations without informing people, hey, I'm gonna do this. The screenshots are one thing, but the recording of the phone call, legally speaking, you have to let them know that you're recording. At the end of said text conversation, if you truly felt that there were issues, you should have let him know, hey, I started getting really uncomfortable by the end of this conversation and I started taking screenshots to record so that I have record of what happened. Like, you just let people know these things, legally speaking, to cover your own ass, not only, but because, not just to cover your own ass, but because it is the good, decent human, it is the decent thing to do as a human being. Okay, anyway.
Out in private rather than take it public. I do want to make it so inherently clear to everybody watching this and anybody who is upset by the situation that I know no matter what I say, it doesn't matter. Whatever reasoning I give does not matter. The outcome has meant that a person has had to come online and defend themselves based off of, ultimately, was a private phone call that I was not happy with the result of. I do, however, want to make it clear that in the call I had...
See, that's just it. It would matter what you said and such if you had been being honest, fully honest in the first place. But you weren't. You were just getting upset, freaking out, making assumptions, and acting like a bully, and trying to publicly smear this dude's name. That's just wrong, Cataclysm. It's wrong. It's not nice. It's mean.
With Jesse, it was not made clear that he was not friends with Alex.
I explained exactly to Cataclysm what I've been explaining to you this video. I edited for Alex. I was grateful for the opportunity that he gave me, that we were never friends, and I haven't spoken to him in months.
Now, I also acknowledge that that is none of my business. It is not my business whether Danky Jabbo is
once again
friends
true.
with Alex or not.
It is not your business at all in any way, shape, or form. You should probably keep your big honky nose out of everybody else's business, you dumb pretty bitch. Just saying.
Obviously, I had the right to be privately upset about that, but I didn't have the right to come online. I just wanted to make it...
That is once again true. You have every right to be privately upset about something if you think that that might be going on. You have all of the right in the world to speculate that something might be going on in private, but until you have actual evidence and you have real proof, you should not be trying to take anything publicly anywhere. And if anything, why didn't you get a hold of an actual anybody about this? Try to get some real freaking... Why didn't you even you could have even messaged I'm Alex and been like, hey, are you friends with Danky Jabbo? Show those screenshots. Just saying, you're really this upset about the fact that somebody is friends with someone else when, that somebody might possibly be friends with somebody else just based on the fact that they follow them on Instagram. Honey, do you got a screw loose? Are you okay? Just saying.
So abundantly clear, mine and Jesse's conversation did not end with a conclusion about his relationship with Alex. What I said on my
Who
live stream where I
cares?
stated that he said to me, I would rather not talk about it, and then went on to sing Alex's praises is true. Can I prove that though? No. Should I have come online?
Who cares? Who cares who this dude is friends with? Even if they aren't friends, even if they were in the past and are not now, and he's just saying that they aren't, why does it freaking matter? They aren't, like, involved with each other anymore, and people are allowed to take time to pull away from other people because they feel bad that they're doing it. You are an absolute insane person who for some reason truly believes that everybody in the entire world has to think the way that you do and feel the way that you do about absolutely everything, when no, that is not the case. Some other people just, they tend to cope with different things in different ways than you do, obviously. The the real issue here is that you immediately seen that he followed I'm Alex on Instagram, started harassing this guy. As far as I'm aware, you basically started harassing him after he started a conversation, and he was just trying to be nice. And you made him uncomfortable. You said that yourself. You made him uncomfortable because of the way that you were speaking. You purposely just searched through somebody's every part of their contacts for no reason. Most likely went through all of their followings on every single social media website, if I'm not incorrect. I'm probably right. Found any connection to I'm Alex that you could possibly find, even if it's like an account that he probably hasn't even been on in a while. You probably just said, oh, he's still following him here. And then you made up this big crazy narrative that they are still somehow friends. Just because, what, he forgot to unfollow him on an account? He's having, like, there's a lot of shit going on here that I don't agree with, and you're over here like, well, the only thing that you care about is that he might still be friends with Alex. Who cares? The issue here is that after this dude got a hold of you for a friendly conversation, you immediately basically cyberstalked him, went on to harass him afterwards, and then tried to start a smear campaign saying that this dude is racist, sexist, and whatever else, a corn addict. And now you're on here making fake corporate apologies and still just boldface. I don't
With no proof? No, I shouldn't have. It was ridiculous. And what did I expect from making that video? I wanted him to take accountability. But ultimately, the one in the wrong here was me. I shouldn't have jumped online to do a live stream because I...
What exactly is it that you absolutely need this man to take accountability for? You haven't even said what you need him to take accountability for. He hasn't done anything wrong in the first place other than take a little bit too much time to unfollow somebody while he's coping with the fact that somebody who may have possibly been his friend at one point, he's like finding out that that they're an abusive piece of shit. So maybe he just took a little bit too much time to unfollow him on one account that he most likely doesn't use too much, and took a little bit too much, like he's just slowly trying to distance himself. Did you think about that? Did you think that this dude might be just as much as, or even more of, an emotional person than you are? And he's just taking way too much time to fully complete the distancing because it hurts. It hurts to find out that somebody that you cared about, that you trusted, that you, like, felt was an important part of your life, who was your friend, who actually helped launch your career, it would hurt to find out that that person was an abusive piece of shit. Almost put a person into a type of mourning, if I'm not incorrect. So to have Cataclysm on here having her weird little hullabaloo, you're still bullying this guy. You are still making false allegations. Because you haven't actually apologized for any of the other allegations that you've made. The only thing that you've apologized for was, I don't know if he's friends with Alex. Who cares, bitch? Anyway.
I was upset. I should have hashed it out in DMs with him and had my problem with him. I understand, and I'm genuinely so apologetic, because I understand that what I said and what I did in that live stream has meant that
you are not apologetic. Otherwise, you wouldn't be saying this the way that you're saying this. You are trying to save face. This is a corporate response. Like, you do not feel bad at all. I can see it on your face. You're sitting there all smug, like, oh, I'm going to pretend to apologize, but still throw a little bit of sass in here, like, well, this didn't happen, I didn't get any real proof. Fudge you, bitch! You don't need it! Most of the proof that you're trying to get is none of your damn business. And why do you care if this dude watches porn? You're kind of just, you're being a bitch.
A hate mob was sent to him. I want to apologize for the fact that my videos resulted in so many people being disgustingly racist to him in his comment section, being nasty about his appearance, and just coming for stuff that was ultimately not relevant. I also should have not come for stuff that wasn't relevant. I shouldn't have made jokes about him potentially being a porn addict. That was out of pocket. And I am really sorry that resulted in him feeling like he had to talk about his sexuality. I never even had considered that, and that proves how short-minded I was in this situation. And I'm really
You're short-minded because the only thing that you ever think about is what directly affects you in the moment. And it's okay to be short-minded about things. It's okay to do that, but you don't even look like you're actually sorry. You look like you're trying to save face and save your viewership.
Really sorry that was something that happened, and nothing I will say will make up for that. I am just truly genuinely apologetic. I do want to address the accusations that are coming to me, because I feel like if I don't address these things, people are going to think, well, you did them then. But again, it's a difficult situation, because I understand also me combating these allegations may come across as me saying that I'm not sorry. I am very sorry for the live stream I made. I'm sorry for bringing mine and his private phone call drama, which ultimately that's all it boiled down to online, was a petty and very silly thing to do. And at my size and me as a creator, by now I should have realized that I shouldn't have done that. People seem to believe that I accused him of being a
That's okay. You're fully allowed to admit that you shouldn't have done something. You are fully allowed to say, hey, I messed up. I made a mistake. But you did say a lot of this stuff. I'm just gonna let her talk her shit. But you know what? You were being a bitch. That's all there is to it. You were being a bitch. Just say, hey, I was being a bitch. I couldn't hold myself back. Something put me in a mood, and I was being a casnunt.
Is it pink reference while talking about Smart Schoolboy 9 is a choice, when for most women it's only pink pre-puberty, most certainly a choice? Exactly.
Not only did I never even say anything about anything being pink, but Katie is now just insinuating that I was somehow referencing anything to do with pedophilia or underage girls, which is incredibly insulting, obviously incorrect, and seriously damaging.
I can't explain how uncomfortable that makes me feel, that is something that people have taken from that live stream. I never said Jesse was a I was talking about the fact that he used the term beef curtains in a derogatory term, and me and my chat got into a conversation about where beef curtains comes from, the implications of that phrase. I said that the term beef curtains is rooted in racism and misogyny. I shouldn't have gone on a side rant about
By the way, y'all, it really isn't. It's just a gross way that people use to talk about fahuhas. Excuse me. So the thing is, beef curtain, as far as I know, the only people. Peter, come here. Come here for a second. We're gonna talk about beef curtains. Okay. We're gonna talk about beef curtains. So, beef curtains, as far as I am aware, is literally just a weird, gross joke that people use to talk about the female bodily anatomy, as I shall call it.
Okay.
Come here for a second. You can talk in the microphone. So, we're gonna ask an actual dude here and I'm gonna tell you the only places that I've ever heard this term from ever. Where are the only places you have ever heard anybody use the word beef curtains for any reason?
I don't know, in like a joke. Not about like anybody in specifically, just like a joke.
Just because it's a funny word, right?
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah, I've never heard it in any other context.
Literally.
Like I've never heard a guy say, "Oh, she had beef curtains" or some crap like that. I haven't heard that. There you go. That's what you want me for?
Yes.
I love you.
Love you too. So, there you go. The only reason that I have ever heard the word beef curtains used ever is just because it sounds funny. It's a funny word to use for the fahuha. And yes, it's disgusting, it's gross, it's weird, but it's not rooted in racism and is not a derogatory statement, and the only time that I have ever seen it used as an insult for a woman's lower regions was specifically these were specifically words coming from lesbian women to other lesbian women when they were angry and fighting and talking about each other's stuff, talking about how it looks, saying that it looks gross. Well, if it looks so gross, honey, why'd you eat it? But anyway, that's the only time that I have ever heard that used as a derogatory statement towards women was from other women. So, you, Cataclysm, automatically jumping to that conclusion. Look at her little Bambi deer eyes, the little fake sad. Okay, let's look at this for a second. Yeah, she's genuinely trying to save her ass.
Roots of a word that I was upset that he used, because of course people are going to think that implies that I'm saying he is said things. Joke. I do not think he was racist at all. But of course I apologize for the stream being so ridiculously all over.
To be fair to everybody who is saying that you said he's racist, isn't you going on about policing his language and saying that it has to do with racism when he's just saying a gross joke and he's actually a person of color? Doesn't that make you the racist person, Katie? I'm just saying.
The place and having ultimately no basis of a kind of real accusation other than the fact that I didn't get an answer of whether he was friends with him or not. It was all a load of irrelevant bullshit that I shouldn't have been talking about. But I also wanted to address, I think I briefly just covered the accusations, because I never said he was a pedophile, nor do I believe he is a pedophile. I have not made that statement at all. Much like I didn't say he was an abuser, and I did not say he was a racist. Now, obviously, my stream is deleted because I deleted it when I realized that he was not friends with Alex anymore, and that was cleared up. The stream got deleted. Now, I know a lot of people may think that is me running away and not taking accountability, but I just didn't want to keep it up because it's not fair on him anymore now that everything has been cleared up. Now, I know that was my mistake because I should have deleted it previously, as he didn't owe me anything to be cleared up. But obviously, watching his response video, it made me...
So, basically, you are not apologizing at all for starting this full-ass frame job Because that's exactly what this is. This is, the whole thing has just been a frame job. You were framing an innocent man. This is just my take. You were allegedly framing an innocent man, in my opinion.
Changed my mind about the way that I approach things and made me think about how I would have affected him as a person. I truly apologize for that stream. It was ridiculous to make, and I've been reflecting about it and thinking, what did I expect from that? I don't know what I expected. And the baseless accusations on him being an abuse apologist are correct. I did make baseless accusations because him not telling me whether he was friends with Alex or not is not a good it's not enough evidence.
And that's
That
just it. You are running around making baseless accusations, and you refused to see that you were making baseless accusations to a point where you actually convinced somebody else of said baseless accusations. That's a little bit messed up, don't you think?
is not evidence, and I'm stupid for even thinking that.
Cataclysm even justifies her harassment towards me as putting a stop to my future abuse, comparing me to her ex-boyfriend who she said had poured boiling water over her, and telling people that if she didn't put a stop to me now, that I could end up like this.
Okay, pause to read. For context, for the following clip, I was talking here about the idea of Danky Jabo potentially making light of an abuser and joking about it, and how that contributes to said person thinking they can get away with their abuse. I was not saying that Jesse here is the person who would become the abuser. It was a reference to how when you don't call someone out, their behavior worsens. This is taken out of context to seem as if I was implying Jesse would become worse. That was not the case. But I will honestly, you actually full on, no, that's not what you were saying. You were saying that he might abuse somebody in the future.
But in all seriousness, guys, this type of behavior is only the beginning. I've seen more often than not when stuff is just surface level, it gets worse and worse. Something that was definitely a bad move was for me to talk about my ex in the same sentence. I do not want to go into me talking about my abusive relationship. It's not relevant, and I would by no means want it to come across as if
a lot of things that were not relevant to Danky Jabo's life that he ended up having to address because of this whole thing. Because you couldn't calm your ass down and just stop and think for 3 fudging seconds and actually act like a normal human being rather than being completely freaking erratic and making false assumptions and false accusations based solely on nothing but a follow. That's messed up, homegirl.
If I am, trying to play the victim card, because that's not what I want. But I would say I shouldn't have spoke about that in the same breath as him. Although I was trying to talk about why I was so upset about the fact that I didn't know if he was friends with Alex, I deserve to be held accountable for doing that stream, and I deserve to be held accountable for forcing him to make a video and messaging him and kind of putting Instagram stories up that were really petty and stupid and irrelevant. And I hold my hands up to that wholeheartedly. And obviously I don't expect people to trust me. I don't expect people to even want to watch me anymore. If you're someone that is upset with me, that is perfectly reasonable. It was a stupid decision, and I made that decision, and
everything that you have done in the last few days has been a stupid decision. Posting this video in general was a stupid decision. Stop defending your actions. Stop defending your actions when you know that what you did was wrong, and you have stated multiple times through this video that what you did was wrong. Yet you're still gonna defend your own actions. Just admit, hey, I was wrong. I did something stupid. I didn't actually look into anything. I didn't have any proof, and it wasn't cool of me to make baseless accusations derived from absolutely nothing that I pulled directly out of the ether of my asshole, specifically to throw into the onlines. so that I can try to convince other people to believe my dumb fuckery. That's what you did, Cataclysm. That's what you did. That's what you should say. Stop fake defending yourself.
Old enough to know better. Obviously, I have learnt from this. That doesn't mean much. You can only, I guess, you can only see from my actions. Actions do speak louder than words. That's something I've preached time and time again. And I just think me apologizing is only going to do a certain amount. I guess it all boils down to how I act in the future and how I change up my approach to dealing with things that upset me, because that's ultimately what this was caused by. Thank you guys a lot for listening. I'm taking full responsibility for that live stream because the way I did it was messy, and the original accusation of me calling him an abuse apologist has been disproven. And even if he hadn't disproved it, I should have never have done it. It was not my hill to die on, and I shouldn't have felt like I was this like savior. It was none of my business to talk about.
That's exactly what it was. Her with her savior complex on, with her white knight gear on, riding around on her giant high horse, trying to make everybody just trying to point fingers at everybody and try to make herself look like the height of perfection, when in all reality there is not a singular human being on this earth who is the height of perfection. Everybody makes mistakes, everybody fudges up once in a while, and the best thing that you can do in this instance is just apologize, eat your humble pie, and stop trying to defend your actions when you yourself are stating that it was completely immature, and you now know that none of your allegations were true or correct, and that it wasn't your place to get involved in any of this in the first place. You shoved your giant nose in there and caused a whole great big issue that didn't need to be caused. So, yeah. And you manipulated poor little horny Lewis McClung. Oh my god. That poor little bastard. This pretty bitch done got him. She fully manipulated him, got him to say a bunch of whack shit, convinced him of a bunch of whack shit, and now she's making a apology based off of her feeling bad about the fact that she has consequences to her actions. Because this isn't an "I'm sorry that I did it" face. This is an "I'm sorry I got caught framing him" face. I'm sorry, but it is.
Again, thank you for watching this and spending the time to watch this. This is something that I will learn from, and of course I don't expect people just to be like, okay, that's fine. What I did was wrong. I should not have made him out to be an abuse apologist.
Did you guys see that little corner of the mouth smile? What I did was wrong.
It was wrong. I should not have made him out to be an abuse.
I shouldn't have made him out to be an abuse apologist. Like, she is trying so hard not to smile her way through this. Oh my fuck. She's doing a good job with the words. Like, a lot of the words are making her sound like she feels bad. The facial expressions, like, she doesn't feel bad. I'm sorry. And the way that she's just continually like, oh, well, this happened. I just wanted to... Honey, stop defending your... The moment that you let the shit get to you and you actually start defending yourself, you lose. Just say, hey, I made a mistake. I'll try my best to correct it if I did something wrong. And then correct it. And move on. Make your apology. Say, hey, I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry I did this. Don't try to defend your actions anymore because you already done fucked up. Just say, hey, I'm sorry. I made a giant mistake. I will do better in the future. But no, you're blaming the whole thing on the fact that you didn't have enough information. You don't need that information. You shouldn't have done any of this in the first place, and that the information that you're saying that you needed was none of your business in the first place.
It's completely on me. It reflects clearly a lot about my brain and the way I view things and how, like, ultimately just biased and wrong it was. And yeah, again, to Danky Jabbo, I'm really sorry. You didn't deserve me to have put that on blast online. So I'm sorry.
You should be sorry. So, you know what, Cataclysm? You should be sorry. You should be extremely sorry. And I hope that you meant that apology. I really do. Because there is absolutely no excuse for what you did. Like, there really isn't. You did all of that with absolutely... What? What reason? Did somebody push you into it? No. No, they didn't. You just did it. At least she seems like she's starting to get on the track towards feeling bad about it, but I still don't believe that she feels bad, like, at all, in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, I think that she's really good at performing when it comes to this one. So, guys, because I seem to be a bit of a glutton for punishment and apparently hate myself in my own ears, we are going to listen to Lewis McClung's apology and see if he is truly remorseful or if he is a bit like Cataclysm and just kind of faking it, obviously faking it.
I'm really sorry. To Jesse, to my audience, to his, to whoever overlaps. I'm sorry for any harm I caused by spreading my ideas as fact. I apologize for being forceful when trying to get an apology or a statement out of Jesse, when it was really not my place to do so, or my right to interject myself.
Okay. I like his response so far. I like his apology. He seems genuine.
I apologize to all my fans that I hurt by misplacing your trust. And I apologize to everyone who took my word as fact and then acted upon it and now feels bad about doing so. And it's not your fault. It's mine for insinuating any of it. I apologize to Danky Jabbo, Jesse.
So far, Lewis McClung is showing within the first 33 seconds of the video, and his is a lot shorter. He is showing so much more remorse and actual emotion behind his words and actual feeling, and like everything about the symmetry of his face, he feels apologetic. His body language, this is an apologetic man. This is a man who absolutely feels terrible for his actions and truly wants to atone for his sins. This is the complete opposite of what I seen from Cataclysm.
For making him feel like he needs to out himself. That was never my intention, but it still happened, and I am still extremely sorry for doing so. Do not feel good about it in the slightest. As two aged people, I hope one day, in the very far future, that we can be part of the community together. I spoke with Jesse last night at time of recording, and we had a very productive conversation considering. I mean, even without all of this, it still would have been a very productive.
Oh my gosh, Jesse filled him in on all of the shit that Cataclysm framed him for. Fuck. Jesse let him know how much of a fool he was. A fool.
Conversation. Because I had some things in my possession, some quote-unquote evidence that if it was true, it would be very bad for him. To all people saying I was blackmailing him, that was never my intention. In a live that I greatly regret doing, it was a huge mistake. I almost showed this, again, quote-unquote evidence, without consulting him. In the heat of the moment, when I almost showed it, I then also, in the heat of the moment, decided I shouldn't do this without talking to him. And by that point, it was too late, and I had already mentioned this quote-unquote evidence. I felt in the moment that I had to keep repeating myself. Again, it was a live, and it was my fault that it was, which did come across like blackmailing, which was truly never my intention. I just wanted to talk to him privately. Again, we had a very productive conversation, and I'm going to keep it private. I'm not going to show any receipts, considering the opposite is what got us here in the first place. For all of those who want to know more information,
So, by the looks of it, Lewis has learned his lesson. He has fully learned his lesson, and he is remorseful, and he feels bad for his involvement in all of this. See, now this is true growth. This is actual growth.
I will say is that he gave me ample proof that this was misinformation, or at least blown out of proportion. It was never a problem, and it will never be a problem. Also, I want it to be very clear. Katie did not come to me for me to make this video. I went to her to ask if she had any more evidence on the subject. She then just showed me what she had already posted on other sites like YouTube and Twitter, and I went on my way to make my script and then to make my video. For those who are mad at me, I do not blame you. You have every undying right to be fed up with me. But to say that Katie threw me under the bus, and then for those of you who
Why? Because you were wrong twice? All you really gotta do is just start doing a little bit more research. Maybe every once in a while pay $1 to get into to a couple of articles. Like, it's not a big deal, Lewis. Calm down. You were wrong. You were fooled by a lady with a pretty face. You were fooled by a very, very pretty lady. You got tricked. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
who are out there mocking her abuse, that is too far.
To be fair, I would probably be very easily fooled by a very pretty lady that was acting like she had all of the best, all the best intentions in mind myself. So, just to be fair to Lewis, the cha-chas, they make your brain scramble sometimes.
That is why her and I made our videos in the first place. It was to address a situation in which somebody could possibly be mocking abuse. It turned out to be very, very wrong, and we were very, very wrong. But that does not give you the right to mock her abuse.
You were wrong! You were totally wrong! No, nobody ever has the right to mock anyone's abuse, but I am so glad that somebody is okay with admitting that they are wrong and just fully taking responsibility for their actions rather than making excuses. Good job, Lewis McClung. This is how you actually fully, truly make an apology. You explain what you did, you apologize for what you did, using the specifics. Good job, buddy. You have started the process of growing up and becoming a fully functional adult. Good job, my friend. Now if Cataclysm could follow you down the same path, life would be a whole lot easier for her as well.
As for me, be as brutal as you see fit. And to Jesse and my audience again, I am extremely sorry. I will learn from this like there is no tomorrow, and grow from this instead of letting it become a pattern. I was so dead set on sticking to my upload schedule that I would be negligent of a story and allowing it to grow so that I could then cover it in good faith. From now on, I will only upload videos on subjects where
that is an extremely valid self-criticism that I honestly think a lot of different YouTubers and different people who like to get all kinds of different information and such, a lot of them do not get the full story because they are so just on this strict upload schedule. And you can upload other things during your upload schedule that aren't just random investigative pieces while you're waiting for your other investigative pieces to fully come together. You see where I'm going with this? Change up your content a little bit, make a few swibbity swaps here and there, do some random stuff. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Make a couple of your uploads a week just fun, silly things. That way you don't have to constantly do random investigative stuff and cover crazy concepts that might actually affect your mental health in the long run and possibly make you see absolutely everything as a conspiratory. Which can happen.
I take the ample time to find proof, as diligently and as long.
Conspiracy, not conspiratory. Gosh darn it, I can't speak English.
As it takes for me to do so. I will learn, and I will grow. This was a huge mistake on my end, and I only made it worse by hopping onto a stream in the heat of the moment when I did not have my full opinion settled. And I deleted my live and my video as to not spread any more hate to his side of the internet. Now that I know I have done damage, I will not allow any more to be done to anybody else except for me. But in this situation, Jesse is justifiably angry, and I am justifiably getting a lot of shit. And that's all what needed to happen for me to realize that I was very, very wrong. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody who held me accountable. I'll see you in the next video.
I still
and I'm
hold
very
you
sorry.
accountable, but you're a better man than Cataclysm. You know what, Lewis? You were wrong. You did a bad thing, but you are also a bigger man than Cataclysm because you were fully able to come to the conclusion that you were wrong, and you had the ability to actually apologize in a way that makes you seem empathetic. It makes you seem remorseful. Like, you are, like, we can tell that you are remorseful. You decided that you wanted to use empathy and put yourself in Danky's shoes. And Cataclysm did not bother to even think about trying to do that. She literally, her whole apology, everything that she's doing right now is just to cover her own ass. And I can tell it's just covering her own ass. Otherwise, she wouldn't be trying to hold back a grin the whole way through the video. But that's just my opinion. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel and watching. And please like the video if you like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Please dislike the video if you dislike the video. But also, tell me why you dislike the video down in the comments. That way I can do better in the next video, and we can make better entertainment for you guys and everybody else. Thank you, bye-bye.